Hello, my soul brothers and soul sisters. I am Ron Smith, and this is the Dr. Ron Smith Investigating Show, where we separate the real from fake, the fact from fiction, and give you the winner's edge. And sometimes we're able to turn your water into wine. Today, we are in episode number 23. 23 is the number of one of my favorite athletes who just made the Forbes 500 top earners, and he's the first athlete to do that. None other than Michael Jordan. Today, we're going to be talking about home ownership. I knew when I was growing up, one of the things that we did talk about in our house were home ownership, because at that time, that was considered the American dream. When you make your crossover to being somewhat a successful in your career and in your life, you bought a home. Just imagine, one of the things that one reason why I like HGTV is because they always show some of the most immaculate homes. And one of the homes that I like is I think Swiss Beast and Alicia Keys has in La Jolla, California. It's right there on the ocean. And basically, we talking about a manicure lawn. We're talking about close to like 1,200,000 square feet. We're talking about, 6-car garages, all that, But, before I go too far, the average home is not that size. The average home don't cost, $20 million. So when I think of home ownership, I think of what's the location, which is, 3 roots of real estate, is where do I really want to live? And one of the things that when my wife and I was young and we were looking for home ownership, we looked at the school district. We looked at, the distance from the church. We looked at the shopping area. We looked at all those things in consideration of home ownership. One of the things that we did consider was how much was the down payment, mortgage payments, and of course my wife was talking about, we're gonna need new furniture and new curtains, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that I want us to consider, especially if you're first-time home owners, there's different programs for that. If you're veterans, there's veteran programs that will help you get that home ownership. But before I go any further, is that the 5 things that I always talk about, and I'm going to share those right quick, is that basically you have to have earned or you create your own income. You have to have a steady income. And basically you have to have a system to how you manage that income. I call that the budget. You have to have your income and your expense. And on the side note, have to know what your assets and what your liabilities are. And basically from that, in order to have home ownership, unless you can pay cash for it, I know a lot of people save, to that point where, they rent to the point where they can have a nice down payment. And we're going to get back to that, which we use that as leverage. And we're going to talk a little bit more in detail regarding that leverage part. And then we talk about protection, because if you purchase a property or any large items, or basically health insurance, life insurance, you need car insurance, and basically you're going to have insurance for yourself. And then the last piece is building a legacy. Now you can use that house as part of your legacy because you can put that in your will or your trust. But those 5 things that you basically have to have. Now, one of the things that a financial institution or a lender will look for, 3 major things that we're going to talk right off the bat. They're going to look for your work history, and they're going to look at your credit score, and they're going to look at your down payment. Those are the 3 major things that you're going to have to have in place. Now, I haven't talked about work history other than basically you have to earn or create your own kind of financial situation, whether it's career or basically if you entrepreneur or an influencer or entertainer, which means that you can be an athlete or you can be a musician, how you create that. What they are looking for, at least 2 years of the same line of work. They're looking for things that, well, they're looking to make sure that you're not jumping around trying to find yourself. They want you to be found by the time you take this step into home ownership. The next thing is your credit score. Remember, I talked about this in episode, I think, in 18 or 19. It's basically is your financial report card. Basically, credit is that you obtain a services from a lender, and they have provided you with a product, and you have agreed to pay an additional fee for that product. And one of the things that I said in that episode is basically that can be good and can be bad. Home ownership, even though on one of my coming up episode, we are talking about whether the home is an asset or a liability, but I'm not going to want to discuss that right now. But home ownership is a very good thing to have because, like I said, you can use that to do other things with if you know how to be savvy enough to make sure you keep it up to date. There are 3 credit bureaus, remember, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Those are the credit unions, major credit union, but also your credit score and FICO score are somewhat used simultaneously, or it's meaning the same thing, which is basically FICO which is your Fair Isaac Corporation, is a major software company that calculates a person's credit scores. And as I stated, I'm gonna restate it again. Your credit score consists of your payment history, which is 35% of it. 30% is the amount you owe. 15% is the length of your credit history. 10% is your mix of credit, which is student loans, mortgage, car payment, et cetera, et cetera. And 10% is of your new credit, which may you are applying for different other credit sources, another credit card. Now, you got to be careful when you do that because those are a hard line on your credit, and they do reflect on that. And you got to be careful, especially when you're dealing with credit cards. And we talked about credit utilization, which is, I gave an example. If you have a line of credit or a credit card for $1,000, you don't want to go over 300. And the most precise way is that you don't want to go. You probably want to keep it at 250 per card. And I suggest basically you have at least minimum of 3 different revolving credit cards. So looking for a home, 640 is good. 720 is better. Now, if you get over 760, that's best. And the reason why you do that, because each time that you get from good, better, and best is that you don't have to pay mortgage insurance. And that's one of the things that if you go in at the lowest, let's say that basically you're trying to get a 3.5 FHA loan, more than likely you're going to have to pay mortgage insurance with that. So the higher amount of money that you can use for a down payment is the better for you. And also remember, they're also looking at your debt to income ratio, the debt to income ratio, which means that basically you have to show them basically you are able to make this repayment. And basically the whole idea is that they're going to sell you money to buy this home, which is a product. And they want to make sure that they get their money back. So let's say that basically you drive by this neighborhood, you're seeing basically it's in it's near your church, maybe even in walking distance. It's in the school that you want your children to grow up in because they have a great education system. It's within a mile of a shopping area, and basically you have your eye on that particular property. You know, you've driven by it in the mornings. You see where the school bus pick up the kids. You drove by it on the weekends. It's not a lot of cars, a lot of activities around it. And one of the things that you notice that there's no regular cars or no boats and etc. Would give you a hint that neighborhood probably have a HOA, which means that basically besides the mortgage payment, besides the down payment, besides the new furniture and all those things, you're probably gonna have to pay a HOA annual fee. And if you're connected to a golf course, at least I was given the option that I can tie that golf membership into my mortgage. Those are other considerations you need to be concerned with. Also, closing costs. There's attorneys and realtor fees that comes along with that. Those are all the things that come to mind when you get ready to buy or purchase a home, and all those things that you should consider when you purchase a home. And I know basically as someone is, you can get emotional attached to certain things. You know, you go into a neighborhood, it's a perfect neighborhood that have all those things that I mentioned that's in there. And then let's say you're not the only one looking at that home. So you might get into what they call a bidding war. You have to consider doing one of those things. So one of the best things that I can suggest that you go to your financial institution, and for me, it would be a credit union because you know, I think they are more in tune to the members of that membership of that credit union versus you know, the commercial banks, and you know the ones I'm talking about. So one of the things that we always have to be considered is when you actually look at the property. And I talked about this in episode, I think 17 or 18, what to look for when you look at a piece of property. You know, when you're doing a drive-by, you can't actually see some of the nuances of the house. So basically, one of the things you want to do is when you are really serious about doing it, you need to contact a realtor, because a realtor, if a home is for sale, will be able to get you the keys so you can actually go inside and actually walk around and get a close-up view of that. And while it's on my mind, make sure that you get your own home inspection. And if the seller has a home inspector report, I would definitely advise you to take a look at that also. So what we look for on the outside. So after you did your canvases of the neighborhood and you said, wow, this is the place for us, you want to walk around and look at the roof, because the roof is one of the most expensive things that you have to do on a home repair. You want to make sure when you look at the roof that look at the drainage. See if there's any standing water around the drainage, which means basically is it gutter or has a gutter guard on it, gutter free, and see if there's any standing water around the home, because you want to make sure that it's properly drained. The next is that once you get with a realtor, you'll be able to go inside and you'll be able to go into, you know, the basement. And what you're looking for in the basement is if there are any moisture collecting in it. One of the things that I also would highly recommend that you also make sure if it's on the slab or if it's in the crawl space. I personally prefer crawl space because if there are any major plumbing issues basically you can do it from the to outside. If you're in a surface, that they would have to break up that surface to get to any major issues. But that's some one of the considerations that you have to take in consideration. The next is when you go up in the attic. In the attic, what you're looking for the installation. Well, it's there's a fluff installation or there's strip installation, and the next thing you want to look at storage. And when we come back after our break, we can continue to look for what we need to do in with home ownership 101. Hello, my soul brothers and soul sisters. We are back. And what I want to do is a little quick recap of what we talk about. And basically when you're looking for a home, and basically today is talking to first-time homeowners. Because if you're already new to the game or true to the game, you already know these things. But also it could be a good refresher because now that you might have a son or a daughter getting ready to purchase their first property, and you can be able to be their guide and show them. This whole concept of the talk is that the conversation I wish I had. Nobody talked to me about home ownership. You just say that you need to do it, and it's mostly on trial and error. And as I said in my corny, dry joke, I'm on trial for most of my errors, especially financially. Ha ha ha. My engineer didn't even laugh at that one. So financial institutions look for three things. First, remember I said they look for a work history. And basically, they are looking for a means for them to see what kind of character you have. And what they're looking for is somebody at least 2 or more years in the same career path or same industry that you chose. Whether you're a medical assistant or you're a mechanic, or basically, if you are an influencer, or basically if you are an entertainer, athlete, etc. Basically, they're looking for your consistency, which shows them basically, you're good for what you're asking for, and they're looking at least for 2+ years. Next is your credit score. And basically, I said that 640 is good. 720 is better. 760 is the best. Now, credit scores go from 300 to 850. So basically, what you see, if you're in that middle ground on the 6+ side, that's what they're looking for. Now, reason why they're looking for that, because the down payment. If you put 20% down, you don't need mortgage insurance. That's the key. And one of the things, like I said, I learned that by, actually being in the system, buying a couple of homes and realizing that. Now, you can have a FHA loan for 3.5% down, or better is you put 5% down. The reason, but if you put the low amount down, that is an additional cost that was going to be tacked on to your mortgage or mortgage insurance, because the name of the game is, yes, we're going to trust you, but we're going to verify that you can repay this loan. So that's the whole better idea. So, and as I stated before, you found this beautiful home, 3 or 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, have the perfect front lawn, have the backyard, but basically, whether it's a pool or it has a space to put in the pool, has an area where your kids can play, and if you have a pet, has got a backyard that it can run around free, and you finally found it in the, it's a walking distance from elementary school, it's a half mile from the high school. it's in an area within a mile that you can have the shopping centers, you have the grocery stores, you have all those things, all amenities, and you just, wow, this is it. It has the three things about real estate: location, location, location. So next thing, you can call up a realtor and say, hey, I see this house is for sale. What can you do for me? So basically, they realtors, they know how to network. They know who has it if it's not with their company, and they'll be able to get you the keys. So here's some of the things where we're left off on part one, is that when you go to it, basically you want to look at the outside, and outside consists of the big issue is the roof, which is a major issue if you want to, which what expense that you want to pay for immediately. The thing about it is basically you want to check the drainage and the gutters, because you don't want any standing water. You want everything to be able to, rain or snow, be able to move away from your home. And then we talk about inside. Basically, you want to look at, of course, you're going to look at your 3 or 4 bedrooms, make sure all the bathrooms and what you want. And I'm going to talk about a little bit more about the inside. But I want to mention the basement. If you have a basement, make sure there's no moisture that's collecting or any type of moisture standing. And when you want to go up into the attic, you want to make sure there's adequate storage for one thing, and make sure it's properly insulated. Further in the inside, what you want to do is make sure you check the plumbing. Make sure there's no standing water, no water damage around the sinks, the toilets, and all the pipes. You look in the kitchen, make sure you look under the sink. You can in the bathrooms, make sure there's no leaking anything, and basically that's be your general survey. And also, if there is a home inspection, you can either you can get one or ask the owner to supply a home inspection. And the next big thing is the HVAC system, the heating and air system. That can be one of the very expensive endeavor. So those are the things that you need to look for extensively. Cracks in the floors, walls and ceilings, water stains, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, those are the things that you need to make sure you have in place. So we got all those things, and I can kind of sum things up. In your planning, especially with your budget, it all depends on where you are. A lot of people are looking, when they think about home ownership, they start saving for that as a big ticket item. You have to be intentional about how you're going to do your budget. Like I said, you can do a 3.5% FHA, but you're going to have to pay more for the mortgage insurance. Now, that is a discussion that you have to have with yourself, or if you have another significant other that you need to make that discussion with, because with the housing market right now, I think it's a seller's market right now due to the economy, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's a slow market right now, and it all depends on where you are, particularly where you're living. So you got to make sure you have a plan for that item, and that comes within knowing what your income and expenses are. And the thing about it is that nothing is too small for you to start saving. It's the habit that you need to develop, because it might take you 3 years to get that down payment. It might take you 5 years to get that down payment. And if you come across a deal that's situation too good to be true. There are first-time homeowner loans that you can take classes from certain credit unions or bank. They will assist you in getting that into a home. And don't forget, there's a thing they call starter homes, which means, yes, I want that 3 or 4 bedroom, 3.5 bath. But right now, I may have to settle for a 2-bedroom townhouse. And that might be another consideration, that you can start small. Or if you know somebody who's who know how to flip houses, you can invest in one of those homes and go from there. So there's a lot of ways that you can obtain home ownership, and instead of waiting on that dream home, you can start building some equity in a home that basically you can afford and move up. I can buy this in the next 2 years, and I live in it maybe 3 or 4 years, knowing that basically I'm looking at that 3 or 4 bedroom house with 3.5 bath in the location that pretty much where I'm looking at. In the meantime, you have to keep your eye on your FICO score. Most people don't pay attention to it and think it's just going to take care of itself. Your FICO score is not going to take care of itself. If you've been working over 10 years, you are going to, there might be some things, and especially you need to get your annual credit report. And you can get free credit report or annualcreditreport.com. You can get your credit report. Or you can actually go to Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian to go directly. So one of the things that we all should be cognizant of is that everything you're making your dream to reality takes planning. That's the first thing you need to do. All of these things can be achievable if you have a solid enough plan. And the thing about it is that you might not have all the expertise in doing those things, but there are people out there, people like me, that will be able to assist you in that's all the whole process. So you don't have to go through that whole thing alone. So the whole thing that I want to share with you today is that to get the unmanifested of that dream into reality takes your plan that, this is what I want to do within the next, let's say 18 months, have that plan of saving, then start executing. So that is Home Ownership 101. I know I shared a lot of information. I covered, one of the things that I try to do is cover some ground that I already covered, because, faith coming by hearing, and hearing, as the scriptures say, by the word of God. And the hearing and actually doing is your part. So this wraps up episode 23, Home Ownership 101. My time is up, and I thank you for yours.